and share my screen. Oh, not yet. Well, I'll share it, but it's on the wrong thing. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. There. Welcome to the Unitarian Church in Fall River. Our guest speaker this morning is Joanna Lubkin. She's a rabbinical student whose path included 10 years of service in UU congregation. She was a UU minister for 10 years. She doesn't use Rev anymore because she's on this path toward being a rabbi now. Her path included 10 years of service in UU congregations, college chaplaincy, a lifetime of Jewish education, a passion for song leading, and training as a community organizer. She is called to cultivate radically welcoming communities where people can feel they wholeheartedly belong. Joanna is the worship arts lead at the Sanctuary Boston and recently served as the student rabbi at Etz Chaim congregation in Derry, New Hampshire. And now I'll turn it over to our music director, Nancy, for the prelude.
Good morning. As Richard said, my name is Joanna Lubkin, and Nancy, thank you for that. That was Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of Gold, made popular by Naomi Shemer. So I was getting to sing along. It's a song I've known since I was a kid. Beautifully shared. Thank you. Invite us to take a fuller breath and arrive. You may have had technological glitches or times where you were rushing to get to the computer or whatever it is. I invite you to take a breath and let that go and arrive as we light this chalice. And I share words from Anastasia Birosh. We kindle this chalice not only because it originated in antiquity, but because this symbol combats malice. This burning flame represented hope during the bleakness of World War II, a sign of refuge, meaning death was circumvented if only for that night. This emblem, a flame in a chalice, often encircled twice, assured wary refugees fleeing Nazi persecution that for a time they had found safety and respite. Today, this beacon shining bright reminds us to summon the strength to extend care and love to those in need forthright. We ignite this flame today for our shared humanity. I invite us to join in singing along while muted, but try out those harmonies you were afraid to try in church, or sing like you're singing in the car or the shower. One of my favorite hymns, 155, Circle Around for Freedom.
We're going to sing it twice. We're going to do this twice. I'll give you a little bit of the... Okay. soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole.
And I invite us to say together today's affirmation by Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. We invite anybody who has an announcement they'd like to share with the community to come off mute and share aloud, or if you put it in the chat, I'm sure one of us can read it aloud.
So I have an announcement. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much, Joanna, for joining us today as our guest speaker. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I just wanted to mention that Richard Trudeau, who is a Unitarian minister, will be our guest minister next week for Easter. Do you want to?
The sermon is called "The Other Cheek." Are you nuts?
Of course.
And it's about nonviolent resistance from Jesus to Aidan Ballou, who was the founder of the Utopian Community in Hopedale, Massachusetts, to Leo Tolstoy, to Mahatma Gandhi, to Martin Luther King. That's a path to king that on the Universalist side, the Unitarian side, is Thoreau to King.
Okay. And in addition to that, I also wanted to remind people that Rumni Saha, one of our student guest speakers, is having her ordination, and she's invited the whole congregation to come. It's May 30th. So you'll see the invitation at church next week, and you can sign up if you'd like to. Thank you.
It's in, we have to go to Wellesley
Correct.
to do it.
Yeah. Are you coming too, Richard?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wellesley is where I did my ministerial internship. I found connections there. I see Beth and Walter have a hand raised.
Please unmute.
Looks like they're working on it. We can be patient. Hey.
Yeah. Okay, so Saturday, Dave Osborne, Jim Donnelly, and I will be playing at Nick and Eve's in Providence. This will be our last appearance for a while because Dave is having a hip replacement, and we're leaving everything else open after that because we don't know, what the recovery will take. So anyhow, next Saturday, if you care to come by, we'll see you. Thanks.
Tracy.
For those who are concerned about ISIS presence in Fall River, the group of us that are meeting to try to sort of do something similar to what New Bedford has been doing, we're having our second meeting today at 3 o'clock at the Bethel AME Church. The first meeting was last Sunday. Unfortunately, I was sick, so I didn't make it, but they had a pretty good turnout, but they're hoping to start inviting more people from the community. So 3 o'clock today, Bethel AME Church, to discuss how they want to try to set up some different things here in Fall River. Join us if you care.
Any other announcements bubbling to the surface? Great. Sounds like a lively community where I'm really glad you're all connected with one another. I believe, Nancy, am I passing it over to you for a little musical interlude for us?
Back on. almost church music with a little tango thrown in there, it seems. Here we go.
Bashana Haba'a, in the year to come. Another beautiful one. I like it as a tango. It's beautiful. Well, so this morning is a couple of things. It's Palm Sunday for those who are preparing for Easter. Have that in mind. We honor all sorts of holidays in our communities and their lives. And I'm here as in my capacity as somebody preparing for Passover, which begins Wednesday night. So our invocation, our opening words are from Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt, who also online goes by the name The Velveteen Rabbi, which I just think is the best name. I highly recommend looking up her writings, but here's what she writes. What does it mean this year to celebrate freedom? What does it mean this year to claim that we are free? Are we free to speak, or only if we hold the right opinions? Are we free to be who we are, or only if we fit a certain mold? Can we celebrate liberation when innocents are shackled? When give me your tired, your poor seems out of style? Sometimes the Passover Seder is about hope that we don't yet know how to feel. But we are not the first generation to live Passover in tight times. The world is not yet healed or whole. There's no sign of redemption. And that has never stopped us from building, singing, retelling, and yearning. The way things have been is not the only way the world can be. It is our covenant to seek greater freedom for all who are bound. Dr. King knew, saying injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Justice everywhere is our destination. May the teachings of Passover be our fuel. I'm excited to share this song with you. I don't know if any of you have been following videos from the singing resistance that has blossomed out from Minnesota all over the country and the world. There's a lot of easy to catch on songs that people have been singing in the streets in protest and in hope. So this is one, if we were all in person, I'd be song leading it and getting to hear your voices, but I will song lead trusting that your voices are joining in. I'll sing it through a couple of times and join in as you catch on. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. One more time. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Thanks for joining me on that. And that in and of itself is a prayer. I'm going to invite us into a time of additional prayer and meditation. But if that is the only prayer you want to offer today, let that be enough. But I share now words from Lisa Garcia Sampson. Let's share in words of prayer and then a few quiet breaths. Spirit of life and love, Spirit that lives between us, within us, and among us right now. Within this community and in our work for collective liberation, May we continue to weave the web of trust and care to keep our bodies safe. But more than that, may our bodies be the site of healing, joy, and freedom. May we refuse to let our spirits be depleted and hardened by the forces of hate. Instead, may we be nourished and transformed by the movement for justice, knowing that our collective story is not what we're fighting against, but what we're fighting for. For ours is the work of creation. Ours is the work of inviting people into an irresistible movement, rooted in our belief that a new world is possible. And the center of our work is love and joy and the spirit of abundance. These are the things we are fighting for, and these are the things we are fighting with. May we know deep in our bones that this is the call of our faiths. Let us take a few quiet moments for slower breaths and for prayers from our hearts. So may it be, and amen. We join in a hymn of yearning for that better world and belief that it's possible with the African American spiritual, There Is More Love Somewhere.
Tiny introduction here. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
As I prepare for Passover, my mind keeps returning to two images: matzah and a protest sign. For those who are less familiar with Passover, it's the Jewish holiday that tells the story of God delivering the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. And since the Second Temple in Jerusalem was destroyed about 2,000 years ago, Passover has been a deeply tactile, hands-on holiday. It's not primarily a synagogue service where you sit and maybe you listen to the story of Exodus chanted aloud, but rather it's a home-based ritual for the whole family and for guests, focused around retelling the Exodus through symbolic foods, through song, and with a festive meal. This ritualized meal is called a seder, meaning just literally order, as in you follow this order and go through all the rituals. It's kind of like calling it a table of contents. And it's guided the whole evening by a special holiday prayer book called a Haggadah, which means the telling. So it's an orderly, ritualized retelling, although many Seders are far from orderly, especially as there's a custom and practice to drink 4 cups of wine. And families get argumentative, like less orderly is also good. Different times and different Jewish communities have had their own take on the Haggadah. And now in modernity, there are hundreds of versions. There are some for kids, some for mystics. There's one that's organized around baseball. Like, I recommend going to a Judaica store and looking through the varieties of Haggadah, all the different ways that people tell the story of finding freedom. But in each of these, there are a few things that I'd expect to be in just about all of them, a few core elements. The first is a teaching from the Talmud that one ought to retell the story of the Exodus in the first person plural, in the we voice, that we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt and that God delivered us from Egypt. Not only our ancestors, but us, we who are seated around this table. It puts us right in the story, and it calls us to feel oppression, liberation, and celebration in our core, in our bones, as an ancient echo, but also a contemporary compass. And the second thing I'd expect to find at any Seder is some version of symbolic foods that go on a Seder plate that help us retell the story. And the most recognizable version of this is matzah, unleavened flatbread. And toward the beginning of the Seder, the Haggadah instructs us to lift up a plate of matzah and say the Aramaic phrase, halach ma'anya. This is the bread of poverty, which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all those in need join in our Passover meal. Whenever I think of this line, I think of my friend Adina. She used to live down the street from me when I first moved to Boston. And one afternoon, just before the holiday began, she opened her front door and hollered out onto our street, "Let all who are hungry come and eat. And I mean it, I roasted 2 whole chickens." I think of that so often. And while I don't know too many folks who do quite so literal an open call to come and eat, although maybe we should, hospitality is deeply emphasized at Passover. The kind of taking care of others that doesn't just mean let's give money toward organizations that feed the hungry. But the implication of this text is that those in need of community and of warmth and of food come sit at our table with us. And this year, I'm finding it striking that it's matzah that we offer and not the feast. American author and Rabbi Tirza Firestone wrote about this in a piece called "The Flatbread of Feeble Times." And she wrote in part, "What is it that we are offering? Not our overflowing wine or a scrumptious array of foods. It's not fullness or wealth that we offer. We offer rather the meager matzah, the flatbread of feeble times, the reminder of our suffering. This is where we can meet and sit down with the world, the common bond of humanity. Precisely because we have suffered so profoundly and each person knows suffering, we can speak to the human experience with the language of the heart." I find that so moving that we return not to a smorgasbord of successes, but to a simple, humble offering. And that makes the matzah a tangible reminder to open my home and my heart more widely. And to ask myself, literally and metaphorically, who haven't I made room for at my table? So that's symbol number 1, matzah. Symbol number 2, a protest sign. I love a good protest sign. And maybe some of you who may have been at the No Kings rally or seen footage of it across the country may have seen some good ones. I always love hearing about them. Whether the wording is funny or poignant or clever, it forces the sign maker to distill their message down to its core. My favorite sign from some protests this past year, I lost track. It's a big white plain poster board with big black letters that said, "Too much wrong, sign too small." That is how I feel when I read the news, when I get alerts on my phone about ICE in my neighborhood. So many times, too much wrong, sign too small. This January, a few months ago, I was preparing to join a delegation of 200 Massachusetts clergy folk at the State House in Boston, demanding that our state government do more to protect its residents from ICE. And personally, maybe you can relate to this. When there's a big, overwhelming situation that is outside my control, I tend to hyper-focus on something small that I do have control over. Enter the protest sign. I admit to you that I spent an unknown amount of time scrolling through various protest footage videos and Googling best resistance protest signs. Please don't judge. At some point, unknown amount of time, at least an hour later, I paused and put down my phone and got still. I realized I was asking the wrong question. Of course. It wasn't, what's the best resistance sign? But maybe I should focus on a more genuine one. What is the value that I hold at my core that is a reason I resist? With that question, a very clear message came. So I picked up the marker and wrote on my small piece of cardboard, "Love the immigrant and protect them," with the citation, "the Torah," like 36 times. Because in most places, the Torah doesn't just say, do good things or don't be oppressive. Most times, and I say this because the Torah is never consistent about anything always, but very frequently, it gives this reason, it gives the why in different variations, saying, do not oppress the widow, the orphan, or the stranger who lives among you, because you know the heart of a stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt. The Torah teaches protect society's most vulnerable because you too know how it feels to be vulnerable. Protect the migrant because your ancestor's story is one of migration. It's not just that each person has a right to dignity and safety, although I believe they do. I hear a moral imperative to love and protect each other. And all of this is rooted in the story that is retold on Passover. That story that we put ourselves into if we tell it the way the Talmud teaches. It says, in each and every generation, a person is obligated to regard oneself as if they personally had come out of Egypt. One anecdote with that, I still have on my shelf a coloring book, Haggadah, that I had when I was a kid. There were various scenes that you could color in while the Seder was going on to keep the kids entertained. And there was a crowd scene of hundreds of Israelites crossing the Red Sea. And my parents had said, yes, we were slaves in the land of Egypt. So I went looking for them in this crowd scene because if they were there, they should have been. Okay, they were holding a baby. Was I alive? Was that one me? And that person had a beard. Dad, you don't have a beard, but you have a mustache. Did you have a beard when you left Egypt? I still remember it so clearly. And I think they just kind of tried to roll with it. They never disabused me. It's a little bit like asking questions about Santa Claus that you don't want to answer just yet. But that's how embodied it was. That's how much this has become a part of my sense of how we retell a story is by putting ourselves into it. So Passover, which has many names and it is sometimes called Zman Cherutenu, which is like the season of our freedom, it's a call to empathy, a call to retell and recall our own oppressions. And at its best, it is a radical rejection of ever taking the role of oppressors ourselves. One of the Haggadot I use describes it this way. The struggle for freedom is a constant one. In every age, some new freedom is won. Yet each age creates more pharaohs and more enslavements, requiring new liberations. The victory over the biblical pharaoh was just a beginning, a foreshadowing of all the emancipations that were to follow and which will yet follow in the days to come. This teaches me that our own liberation is not complete as long as others are still oppressed. The Jewish poet Emma Lazarus, whose words we heard quoted earlier, that are written on the base of the Statue of Liberty, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," which I think also would make a great protest sign, but save that for another time. She also wrote at about the same time, 1883 or so, "Until we are all free, we are none of us free." And that sentiment has echoed through generations of activists since, often frequently quoted as by Fannie Lou Hamer and Martin Luther King and Maya Angelou. It's an important thought that's expressed in a bunch of different ways. I love the way that my colleague, Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto, writes. They say, all of us need all of us to make it. All of us need all of us to make it. So here is where those two symbols meet. Because it could be that the matzah and the protest sign are saying the same thing. Both say, we have suffered. We know what suffering feels like, and therefore we act. The bread of poverty is not just a historical artifact, it is a living argument for not waiting on the sidelines while others are oppressed. And look, it feels too obvious to spell out how this applies in our days, so I won't. I trust that you will fill in your own reasons. But what I will say is this, that the Seder gives us a ritual that is so useful in exactly this moment. It asks us to sit down together, to tell an old story until it feels new again, to hold up a piece of humble flatbread and say, this is what we came from. This is what we know. And because we know it, we cannot stand by. The Torah doesn't say, consider the stranger. It doesn't say, feel sympathy for the stranger. 36 times it says things like, love them and protect them. It's not a suggestion for the spiritually ambitious. That's just the baseline. So this Passover, whether it's part of your family's traditions or not, I invite you to ask yourself what I did before I picked up that marker to write my sign. What is it that you hold at your core as a value? What is a belief so fundamental that it's the reason you would act? And then let's act. Call your representatives again. Keep showing up. Open your door. Picture Adina hollering out into the street about her 2 chickens. She didn't wait for the right moment or invite just the right people. She just opened the door. Lift up your matzah and let that be your sign. So may it be. Chag Sameach. Happy Passover.
Thank you, Joanna. We come to our offertory. This is a time to think about how much we're going to be given to the church soon as we get our checkbooks out. And just in case you need reminder, there's the address, and Nancy will play while we meditate on our checkbooks.
Thank you, Nancy. We know that whenever we gather, whether it's in person or online, we come as people who have heavy hearts and who are coming with joy. We invite you in this time to share as you'd like the joys, the sorrows, the hopes, and the prayers that are on your heart. I invite you, if you'd like, you can come off mute or put your joy or sorrow in the chat, and I'll read it aloud. Invite us to take in as well what our community mates share and lift up our hearts in prayer. Yeah, Richard.
Some people were asking in the chat about Eric. I spoke to him a day ago. He's fine. He said he wasn't going to be here today, and I don't think I quite understood why, but he's fine.
I'll share a joke. Oh, sorry, Richard, go ahead for a second.
And the affirmation today was by Edward Everett Hale, which always reminds me of the story. He was a Unitarian minister at the end of his career. After he had retired from serving churches, he was the chaplain of the United States Senate. And when he was first appointed, a reporter said to him, Reverend Hale, you're the chaplain of the U.S. Senate. Do you pray for the senators? And he paused for a minute and he said, I look at the senators and I pray for the country.
So may we all. Maybe Beth and Walter.
Yesterday, Dave and I had the opportunity to share some music with some people in Providence. Jim couldn't make it. We were told it was a fundraiser. It didn't really turn out to be a fundraiser, but what it was a really nice event where various musicians came together at the Matheson Street Church in Providence, in which they have a volunteer program that serves the homeless population. And what this basically ended up being was just a day where there was a warm place for somebody to come in and get a free cup of coffee and a little bit of food and listen to music. And it was just, kind of a nice thing. And to hear one of the leaders in the group speak to the people, it's just so inspirational to see a real person doing this kind of work and giving the message of we're all in this together. I mean, there are so many broken people that were coming in. I mean, you can see signs of all kinds of, maybe addiction, mental illness, just different kinds of hardship. And they all come in and everybody treats everybody just right. There are no problems or conflicts or anything. And it's just a really nice atmosphere. And as I said, the person leading it just spoke very eloquently about the togetherness and the helping each other along with all of our different difficulties. And it just turned out to be a really rewarding day. And the people themselves, you'd think that somebody's barely with you. And as we were leaving, they would come up to us and say how much they enjoyed our music. So, it was very rewarding and we felt good about it and had fun while we were doing it.
Give thanks for all of those spaces where everyone is seen as whole, however they arrive. Don, was that a hand from you, sir? I'll give you some time to unmute. There you go.
Now, can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
My joy, of course, is being here at Unitarian Church. I love you guys. Very, very good service today. I got educated, and that's good. I feel it in here, and I got educated. But one of my big joys, of course, and everybody who knows me is, guess what, people? Red Sox season has begun, and I am excited. 165 games to go, and yeah! Whoo! Thank you. Red Sox.
Go Sox. I'll share joy. Well, now I have joy for the Red Sox. I'd forgotten that. Now I gotta go get some tickets. I have the joy, some of you heard right before the service, that right after this, I get to go about a mile up the road to bless a neighbor's baby as part of a baby naming ceremony. A colleague had to miss it for a medical emergency, which I am not happy for, but I'm getting to bless a 6-week-old baby. So I give some joy for the life of little Alma Grace. And apologies to you all that I'll log out basically as soon as we're done to rush and go bless them at noon. So apologies for that. Tracy.
So yesterday I had the pleasure of being a marshal at the New Bedford No Kings March, and when it ended, the Unitarian Church of New Bedford was hosting a space to. They had like soup and sandwiches and different things, and so it was my first time there, even though I'm in New Bedford all the time for work, and so I ended up speaking with the pastor there because she was the person who gave the blessing in the beginning. And so I was like, "Are you guys open on this summer? Because ours in Fall River is closed." And like, "No, we're closed too." And so we got to talking and we talked about how maybe between Fall River, New Bedford, and Fairhaven, that maybe we could in the summertime like alternate so that there's actually service in the summer if people were interested in summer service. So I don't know if anybody's interested in that. I don't even know how it would look, but it was a beginning of a conversation that I thought would be nice if there was a way to continue service in the summer for those that miss it, like myself. So we can talk more. But it was really nice to go there.
We give thanks for those who help keep our protests as safe as possible, who keep each other safe, and give thanks for ways that we can stay connected. Any last joys or concerns? Yes, go for it. Tim, right? Did I get it right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, couple of things. A few days ago, I removed the fan in the front ladies' bathroom that was making all kinds of noise and evidently was smoking. That got my attention. So I've pulled it out so you can use that bathroom without fear. The motor should be repaired and come back somewhere along the way. And also, next Sunday, you can think of me at the Bridgewater Sunrise service at 6:30 a.m. Among other things, we'll be singing "The Old Rugged Cross." So we're going old school there. So that's it. I'm signing off here again.
We give thanks for those who keep our buildings from smoking where they oughtn't, and gratitude for places to join, even when it is quite early in the morning, to celebrate. For all of the joys and all of the sorrows that we're holding in our hearts that haven't been spoken aloud, I invite us to take one more breath together. Oops. And Albert, is this something you'd like read aloud as part of a joy and sorrow, or is just a chat comment? I want to make sure I'm honoring it properly.
No, that's fine. I appreciate, the constant lectures, if you will, about how we should be thinking about all of the undocumented and really not called for people that have come to our country without any kind of supervision. And, I totally agree with the idea that no human being should be, abused or oppressed. But I don't think that we're being that unreasonable as a nation, offering people money to go back where they came from, and apply properly to enter this country and become a proper citizens of this country. As a citizen, I have rights and responsibilities. That's not the case in a lot of instances of what's going on in this country. And so I'm not for, these protests. The protests seem to be totally absurd in my opinion. We
May I
have
just
no
ask, is there a
king.
joy or is there a joy or a sorrow
The
connected to
concern, the
this for you?
concern is,
Okay.
the concern is that we're actually like delusional in a lot of our political stances in this day and age, where we're not making any sense to each other. I mean, I don't, you seem to be all in on the no kings protests. This country has no kings. It hasn't had any kings since its inception. So the entire premise of the protest is fallacious and absurd. And I don't know. I just wanted to express that opinion, because from the pulpit we never hear the other side ever, ever, ever.
Mhm.
I appreciate what you shared in the chat that we all support a constitutional republic. And I am grateful for spaces where there can be disagreement and for however that touches the joys and sorrows and concerns in each of our lives. I pray that we get to a protected democracy and rich republic, even if we might disagree on how we get there or whether we're there. For all of the sorrows and joys and the concerns and the prayers on our hearts, I'll sing just to close out, there is a love holding us. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. So with that, we'll close our service with a hymn before our closing words. This is I'm on my way to whatever it is that you believe a better world would look like. Let's go there together.
I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. If they say no,
share closing words today that are from Michael Walzer from Exodus and Revolution, and a little context of it. The word in Hebrew that means for Egypt is Mitzrayim, and there's often a parallel drawn with the word tsar, that a narrow place. So many teachings talk about finding the narrow place within ourselves that we are leaving, or the narrow places of our society that we are leaving. So just for that context, allow that resonance with the word Egypt. So Michael Walzer wrote, "The door of hope is still open. Things are not what they might be. We still believe, or many of us do, what the Exodus first taught. First, that wherever you live, it is probably Egypt, probably a narrow place. Second, that there is a better place, a world more attractive, a promised land. And third, that the way to the land is through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining together and marching. Go in peace, make peace, be at peace. Amen." Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. I wish I could be there in person with you someday. I will make it down there. Go in peace and be blessed as you are a blessing. And I will bring your love over to baby Alma Grace, where we will actually be singing that Ose Shalom that you just closed with as our closer there. So thank you for tying it together. Be well.
Thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So everybody have a great rest of the day. It looks sunny out. I mean, I think it's chilly, but I'm going to go out and enjoy some of it. So I'll see you all next week, right? Mwah.